Okay, hey everyone. As you can tell, I'm in a different fit, tie and all. I started a new job this week and it's great. It's cool. I can't really go into the details of it, but I am enjoying it for the time being. It's really nice there. And everybody that I work with, super friendly, super welcoming. So there's that. At the beginning of when I started this channel, I set out to get a job as well to help fund the real estate. So, in that first initial introduction video that I made, I had to get a job and I stated that within the video. So now that I have that, it's taken a lot of weight off my shoulders, which is really nice to have. So that's sort of like a personal update that's going on with me. This video will primarily consist of future planning for White Wing, how we're going to get funding for the next house, what's the plan even going to be, am I going to get another house next year, stuff like that, as well as what's going to happen with the channel and updates with the uploading and stuff like that, as well as what's going on with the current properties that are fully rented out. Currently, both of the houses are great, no issues whatsoever. I've kept in touch with the tenants, made sure everything's up to their standards and their liking, and they all seem to love it. We did recently have a washer and dryer issue up in Warnock. That was a little bit of a headache because the washer and dryer for some reason stopped working. It was weird because I had been living in the property a year prior, so I'm not sure why it stopped working, but it just did. It's just one of those things. They just stopped, can't really do much about it. Went ahead, got a appliance guy to come out there, repaired and all, so everything's good to go there. They're happy, they're good. We got it all pretty much the next business day. I believe it broke on Monday and we got it all fixed on Tuesday. So yeah, everything was good. Management wise, everything's solid there. Nothing going on with the properties. Knock on wood, everything keeps going as it should. Now, going into the 2025 plan for purchasing a property. Starting with the housing plan, how many units? I want at least 2 units minimum, whether that's a duplex similar to Ripka or that's 2 single family homes. Primarily, I'm gonna stick with the 2-bedroom, 2-bath range because I noticed that anything above that is a little bit harder. I feel like I got lucky with Warnock because that 3rd bedroom is more like an office room. I will stick with that 2-bedroom, 2-bath range, and I want to stick around that 1,100 to 1,200 square feet range. So that's what I'm thinking. Location, still gonna do Philadelphia. I want to conquer Philadelphia as much as I can and eventually refinance all the homes and probably segue into Jersey. My thinking is that when I go into Jersey, I want to go into a hotspot, primarily Jersey City, Hoboken, that area, where it's closer to New York, where I can guarantee that if I lower my market rent, I'm gonna get someone either from New York or New Jersey to come rent it out year after year. That's the idea there. Pricing wise, it really depends on how much I can finance. So we'll get into that right after this. But ideally, I want to look for a house anywhere between the 250 to 400,000 range. That's the goal. Hopefully I can get 2 units within that range, whether that's 2 separate units or a duplex, whatever the case may be. So now going into the financing, I have a few options that I've written down. They're all sort of up to speculation, really depending on what interest rates are. I was doing some research at the time of writing this, which is Friday, September 27th. Interest rates will hopefully go down to 4% by the end of 2024. So that's what I'm banking on. I'm really expecting them to be low 5s, high 4s. So that's sort of my plan in terms of being conservative with my numbers. So I'm going to be shooting around the high 4s, low 5s area. In terms of financing, we have refinancing Ripka for around $300,000. This is probably my most likely option that I'm looking forward to. It gives me cash to play with, as well as it does put Ripka back in sort of like a low cash flow standpoint, which is more than okay because right now I'm just building the portfolio. I don't need tons of cash flow coming through as long as the property's sustainable, as well as now that I have this job, I have some sort of you can almost call it like a backup supply of money coming through supporting these properties as well. So that's one way. Second way is currently refinancing my current residence, which is I'm living with my parents. So refinancing that home for about $400,000. The idea there is I have more cash to play with, but that leaves me with a bigger mortgage payment. So depending on interest rates and what kind of rate I can get, that'll come into play. Another possible factor would be seller financing to hopefully find a seller that'd be willing to finance me within the deal that we're doing and possibly even give me a low rate and go that route. So that would be solid. Acquiring points. What I did for Warnock, I got 1 point. It dropped my percentage down by, I believe, a half or a quarter, whatever the point system is. Essentially, use a lot of the income that I'm getting from work to supply for points while using refinancing as a form of large capital sum. The idea is get majority of my capital from refinancing properties and help supply that with points and bring it down much lower than it needs to be. So that's another idea that I have. Getting investors, that's always up on the board. So, you know, getting investors, getting a big pool of money, getting multiple properties, even larger properties, that still stands, as well as I have new employment there, which obviously, like I said before, it funds all of this for the most part. It is helping me immensely with figuring out what sort of numbers work, what's the price range that I can buy in, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much it for financing. To break it down, we have refinancing my primary residence, which is my parents' house, refinancing Ripka, which is fully paid off, possibly getting seller financing, possibly acquiring some points, gaining investors, as well as just my job in general will help finance a lot of this. We have that. Going into management's still going to be the same. I'm going to manage the properties. I'm going to outsource whatever I can. Let that be leasing and let that be finding a tenant and all that. I will give it to my agent. He'll take care of all that for a small fee of 1 month's rent. That's pretty much what I have for management. Otherwise, we're a management company here, so we're going to be managing our tenants, making sure everything is up to their satisfaction and everything works out as it should. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my 2025 housing plan. Not really anything set stone just yet because there's a lot of speculation still out there. I'll know more come January of next year, and I can plan a lot more efficiently, and I'll have a lot more details dialed in. I think it's off to a good start, and you know, just trying to keep my head in the game, keep the business growing while I'm in a place of like comfort. That's really about it for housing. Now we'll talk about YouTube and YouTube's future. So with that being said, these next few months are going to be slow. I'm not going to be posting as much. I'm not going to be able to make content because there won't really be much content to be made. Only if there's some sort of issue with the properties or some major thing going on with my real estate portfolio will I be making a video. But for minor updates and so, I'll probably just jot them down and then put them all in one massive video eventually when there's enough content to be made. In terms of that, nothing really is going to happen with the channel for the time being. It's going to be pretty large gaps of time in between each video. Otherwise, the plan is come sort of that January, February time is when I'm going to get back into the market, start looking again. I'm obviously still looking as the months go by from now till, we'll say, March when I start getting serious. I'll gradually start picking up, looking more often come January, February time, and even schedule some showings and all that stuff. And this portion, I guess, of this next housing plan is I want to show you guys the entire buying process. So in terms of showing you the tours, showing you the closing, showing you the inspection, all those stuff, the miscellaneous stuff that goes into purchasing a home, I want to be able to document that and show pretty much either investors or even first-time home buyers what that's like and how it's not that scary. Because for me, it was definitely scary, and I made sure every document that I was getting, I like triple checked and made sure, like, is this right? Is this okay? Do I need a lawyer? Blah, 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 whatever. I want to show you guys that entire process, as well as I want to document that whole process because others to see like, hey, it's not as daunting as it seems, and you know, I can maybe do it too. So that's sort of what's going on for YouTube. It will be a slowdown, but with that will come a lot more content and a lot more in-depth, detailed videos. So that's really all that I have. I know that this was kind of more of the boring videos. It's all documentation at the end of the day. And hopefully looking back, I will be laughing at myself because who knows if I'll even be buying a property at 2025. So regardless of that, we are shooting for 2 units. We will get 2 units. I appreciate you guys sticking around, and I wish my future self the best of luck. Good luck.